Hello and welcome to TalkBGKY, the official podcast of the city of Bowling Green, Kentucky. I am Debbie West and I'll be your host today. We have Ian Ramsey, the chair of the Kentucky Bicycle and Bikeway Commission with us. He's here from Louisville. Hi, thank you for coming in.
Hi, Debbie. Thank you for having me.
We also have Natasha Smith with Bike Walk BG. She is the coordinator for that fine organization.
Hi, Debbie. Thanks for having us.
It's good to have you here. So, Ian, tell us, what does the commission do?
So the commission was started many years ago. It was formed to do two things predominantly. One is we oversee something called the Paul and I grant. And that grant is funded by the sale of Share the Road license plates. You might have seen them from time to time.
Yes.
Yeah, it has a bicyclist on one side and a runner on the other side. So every time one of those plates are sold, $10 goes towards us, that Paul and I grant. And then every year we get a distribution, and we then decide how to distribute that money. We receive grant applications from all over the Commonwealth, and we get to make sometimes really hard decisions about how to use that money. And sometimes they're really easy because the things that people are doing in the Commonwealth relating to cycling and pedestrian things are just phenomenal. Just great people to meet and to work with.
Can you give us some examples of things that we're doing here in Bowling Green?
Sure. The first and foremost example is the person who's sitting right next to me, Natasha. She works with Carol Duckworth, and we have been really honored to fund some of their programs, and she can talk a lot more about that. But let's just say that when we read the application for Bike Walk BG, we knew that what we were dealing with was a city that was really committed to trying to change the trajectory of how people saw cycling, saw pedestrian efforts in their city. So with that, I'll turn it over to Natasha.
So tell me about some of those efforts here.
So I've been with Bike Walk BG for about 2 years now, and my predecessor, Carissa Lemon, actually worked with was awarded one of the Paul and I grants that purchased our trailer that we have to go on our mobile programs and all of the bikes that we have in there and the other equipment. So with that, we're able to go to schools and go to other public events where we can set up cycling events where we bring all the bikes, the helmets, all the safety gear that people need. And we'll set up things like a bike rodeo is what we call it. That's an obstacle course that kids can go on. And then through continuing grants that we've gotten over the last few years, especially this last year, we got more funding so that we can expand that and continue, so that we've now started going into the local elementary schools. So we offer to all of the local schools on city and county that for the fourth graders, we will go in, and for a PE class for one day, we will set up everything. So we take all that trailer and equipment with us, and we'll set up either outside in a parking lot or inside a gym if we need to, if the weather's bad. And we get to do those bike rodeos. So the main focus of those really is to teach safety to go along with riding. So we teach hand signals, we teach kids how to put helmets on properly so that they actually work. We teach them how to operate in traffic in case they're out riding on the road, how to communicate with other riders, what to do if a dog approaches them, just things to keep them safe. And then we try to also share bike joy so that kids have an opportunity not just to play it at school, but they can go home and enjoy riding a bike.
And this is the same bike trailer that we see sometimes down at the Fringe, right?
Yes, we take it down there sometimes now that we have the Warren County Bike Safety Park, which we just opened earlier this year. Just at Harvest Festival, we had a lot of kids and families come through.
Oh, I saw them. They were out there having a good time.
Yes, absolutely.
So we've got the Kentucky Bicycle and Bikeway Commission meeting coming up here in Bowling Green, November 6th and 7th. Can you tell me what's going to be happening during that event?
Sure. First, I'd like to say thank you, Natasha, for that phrase, bike joy. I really like that. I feel like when I'm on my bike, you just want to put your hands up in the air and scream bike joy as you're going down the road and see if you can attract attention, not bad attention, just attention, and say, yes, I feel good about being on my bike. And that's what this program is all about. So we are lucky enough to come to Bowling Green, and we're doing two things. One is we're having our meeting of the commission where we get to make these hard and easy decisions about what to do with the Paul and I grant money. And that will happen on the 6th during the day. But we get to end our day with a little bit of that bike joy, which is we get to do a community bike ride. And that starts on the 6th. And Natasha will talk more about that. But it's a community ride. Everyone's invited to come. And the idea is to bring together people in your community in a safe way and say, this is a great town. Ride the streets together in this town. And for me, that's really important because I'm hoping to meet even more people from Bowling Green. Then the next day, on the 7th, at the WKU Alumni Center.
Oh, yeah, we're red here. We're not blue.
We go to the WKU Alumni Center at 8 a.m. And we'll start the day with breakfast because that's the important part, right? We are going to a day of talking about how to take ideas and turn them into reality. And we start with your own judge executive, Doug Gorman, will be opening up the program for us. And then we will have the morning session that will be focused on children, right? These ideas of investing in children in your community, bringing safe biking skills to them. For some kids, giving them a bike for the first time. Mm-hmm. Never been on a bike and experienced that bike joy of being able to say, hey, I can do this. And then we're going to shift gears. We're going to talk a little bit about how government works when trying to develop an idea into a reality. In the afternoon, we're going to have a little bit more moving forward, talking about some great things going on in this community. For those who don't know, there's a study that's going on right now where they're looking at making a bike trail from Bowling Green to Mammoth Cave. Phenomenal project. And so we have one of the people who are involved in that project. They're going to be speaking to us. We're going to compare and contrast that project, which is what I call a more traditional long-term project, to something called quick build. So quick build projects are ones, as you can imagine, it happens fast. You have an idea, you take it, you find the funding, and then you get it built. And this town, by the way, has done quite a few of those. They're great projects. And so we're going to learn about how a city can take an idea, turn it into a result quickly under a quick build project, but also think larger about, well, where do I want to go in terms of the city? What other big ideas do I have? And this project of the Mammoth Cave Bowling Green connection, that's a big project. So it requires a lot of people and a lot of stakeholders, a lot of different people involved in that process, a substantial investment in terms of building that trail. But at the end of the day, I think if that project is successful, and I hope that it is, and we're at the beginning of that project, it's going to be a great project for this city, as well as connecting into Mammoth Cave. I can't imagine a more beautiful ride than being able to be on that bike ride.
Oh, sure. That's a beautiful area that would take you through some really nice countryside. So that would be great. So tell me some of the projects that have come through the Paul and I grant here in Bowling Green.
So that trailer that we have all of the bicycles in, actually purchasing the equipment, bicycles, we have some tools to work on it because it started as a mobile bike shop. But we were so fortunate earlier this year to also have the Warren County Bike Co-op open. So now we're focusing on that space for repairs. So we've converted the trailer into just being able to carry more bikes for kids. It's fully stocked up with all the bikes that we can possibly fit in. We've got our traffic cones. We've got miniature stop signs, everything that we need to set up these routes for kids.
Any bike trails that we've done?
Not through the Paul and I grants, no. All of the trails that we have locally are part of the Greenway system. So that was more of a historic project with the Bowling Green Greenways Commission, I think, started all of that. But so now we have the Greenways that actually our office through the City County Planning Commission does manage the trails and keep those mapped.
Yes, I noticed you've got some folks speaking at this commission meeting that's coming up. You've got our mayor on a panel, I think at 1:00, and then you're going to have our public works director, and they maintain a lot of the greenways.
They do. Andy Souza and his crews do a lot of work and have taken a lot of good ownership of it. I really appreciate all that they're putting into the greenways.
Yeah, our greenways are great. They're great places to go out and walk and ride and just enjoy nature.
Yeah, they keep them in good shape. They do repairs. They do a semi-annual survey. They go out and check every mile of all the trails in person. And so they make a list of everything that needs to be repaired, every place that trees need to be trimmed back. They went out this year and put a bunch of new thermos on the ground so that you can identify where the trail is and just call those out more to the public.
Is there anything else coming up in the way of trails?
If we can get that Mammoth Cave one, that would be a really big deal. And
That's the huge project.
Currently, that is a feasibility study going on, so
Okay.
there's not really a time frame for the actual construction of it. I think some of our next greenways that are going to be expanding on Lover's Lane, because that currently connects a couple of parks from Kiriakis over through the loops, and it continues up Lover's Lane, but then dead ends. But that is going to connect over through Kinvale Boulevard and get more of that loop around town that we've been trying to achieve, and then some more around the Small House Road and Cave Mill Road.
Yeah, it's going to connect some parts of town together so that you can actually get around.
Yes. Yeah, that's the idea. We want that loop around and then all the hubs and spokes between.
Sure. So tell me more about the commission meeting. What are you hoping to accomplish at this meeting here in Bowling Green?
I'm hoping that I can find all the projects that come across us at the meeting.
Do you know how many you'll have to consider?
I don't yet. All the applications, the deadline was October the 1st.
Okay.
And I don't know how many applications yet. I don't know how much money is being requested, but that is a struggle that we have every year. We don't have enough money to be able to fund the projects that are coming to us.
And what do you typically work with in a year as far as funding? How much do you generally have?
It's going down. And the reason it's going down is because there was a change in the law in Kentucky where it used to be that you get a new license plate every time you got a car. Now you hold on to your license plates forever. So if you get a license plate, that license plate stays with you and goes to your new cars when you get them. As a result of that, not as many people are buying license plates. And so that $10 for every license plate doesn't go to us in the same way that it used to. It is not as much going in to the fund, and as a result, we're having to make harder decisions about how to use that money.
So tell me about the community bike ride that you're going to have and how many people we're expecting to have for that.
So with Bikewalk BG, we try to hold a bike ride once a month, and all of the programming we do is free. The rides are open to the public. Anybody who has a bicycle can come out. We even have loaner helmets when people need them. For the KBBC to be here, we wanted to do a special ride that will be paired up with the conference. So we still are opening this up to the public and want everyone who wants to ride to come out. And we can still loan you a helmet. We're promoting physical activity, but we're also promoting the camaraderie that comes with that. With this one, we're not just people who are local to the community here, but hopefully that those people get to expand their circle and meet some people who are like-minded, but from other parts of the state. And so for this one, we are going to meet at Nat Sporting Goods. They have offered up their parking lot for our gathering space.
That's nice.
Yes. And if anybody needs to go in for goos or any other energy things before the ride, you can feel free to head inside. Or maybe you forgot your headlights, because this one is going to be a nighttime ride.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Yes.
It'll be dark.
Yeah, this time of year, once you're past 5 p.m., it's pretty much a night ride.
Yeah.
Sure.
So this one we wanted to be on a weekday before the conference and after work hours. So it's going to start at 6 p.m. at Nats. This is just going to be a short ride. We'll go about 5 miles. We're going to ride through downtown, and we want to showcase the Warren County Bike Safety Park for anybody who's not seen that yet, which is at the Fringe, as you mentioned.
Sure.
And then we'll just ride back to Nats. For those people who are serious cyclists and think that 5 miles is not worth coming out for, we've got another route of another extra 8 miles. So if they want to keep riding, they're welcome to do that. For anybody after that, or if you just want to stop at 5, we'll just kind of take a poll on site and see where everybody wants to go for dinner after the ride.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, you're welcome to come out.
There's always one of those, right? And any bike ride that you get done, they go, no, we want to do more miles.
I brought my bike out for this.
Right. I want to do more miles.
And it's starting at 6 p.m. and it's free.
Yes,
and all you
always
need
free.
to do is show up with your bike.
You can pre-register along with the registration for the conference. We have a separate registration for the bike ride just to give us an idea of how many people to expect. But they've got plenty of parking at Nats, so even if you do not pre-register, you're welcome to come out. We'll just get you signed up on site. So if you show up about 15 minutes early, that's enough.
And can people get involved with the commission?
We do interact, yeah. I mean, the more the merrier, really. I mean, I hate to use that phrase, but part of the reason that I'm here today and part of the reason that we're doing this bike ride is that I want to interact more with the people out there. I want to meet the people who are passionate about projects. I want to hear what they have to say. I want to hear the good. I want to hear the bad. I want to hear their ideas. That's part of this. And on a bike ride, it's great to meet people because they really are. They're kind of in their happy place sometimes when you're on a bike ride, right? And they want to talk to you, and they want to share the things that are on their mind. And this conference is all about this. And so for every speaker I've spoken to who's speaking at this conference, they said, what do you think a good result is? And I said, a good result is that when you get done, someone wants to talk to you. They want to know more about what you know. And so that you can spread your knowledge into the community, and they can take that and go back to their communities and say, you know what? I think it might be a really good idea if we did whatever. So, for example, in this community, I was just in a meeting before I came here, and there was a discussion about putting in a quick build project, simply a sidewalk that connected a community to a local grocery store. And then as Natasha and I were out driving this morning, we went by another one where it was simply just an idea of separating a road, the side of a road, right? So a large road, separating it with cones, like white reflective sticks that stick out of the ground. It separates,
Sure.
but it separates a space. And it connected a community to the local Walmart, which was right there. And that to me is just, it's powerful because you're directly affecting someone's life. You're making a decision using that idea, and you're affecting that whole community and allowing them access to food. For some people, they may work there. It's important. One of the stories I heard this morning was about the sidewalk quick build project was being done because they were accommodating people who had disabilities, and they weren't able to get from point A to B safely. And now they have a sidewalk to do that. And that's huge. To me, it's everything when you talk about planning. When you talk about planning for bike safety, for pedestrian safety, bring it down to a human level, right? It's not about, you have the big ideas, but bring it down to the human level and say, are you affecting someone in a positive way today? And so every time I have this picture of Natasha and Carol going out to the elementary schools. And they're not the only ones, by the way. We fund other projects. We have teachers in Lexington who are doing the same thing. We have an individual in Elizabethtown who's doing that. We have an individual out of Elizabethtown, and she'll be speaking at our conference. And I am so looking forward to sitting down and being able to talk to her because her focus is dealing with children who are not able to ride a bike, that go in a store and ride it. In other words, these are adaptive bikes. These are children who don't have the same capabilities as other children. And so they have created adaptive bikes. So a child who normally could not have bike joy, right? That ability to go out and experience that. There is a organization in E-Town right now that is focused on that. And they're trying to put adaptive bikes into these children's hands so they can have those experiences. And she's going to be speaking at our conference, and she's going to be bringing one of her adaptive bikes with her as well. So the people who are at that conference can say, oh, when I'm thinking about a bike program, when I'm thinking about pedestrian issues, it's not just everyone is the same, because not everyone is the same.
Right.
So
it's opening up, like you said, bike joy to everyone.
yeah, I've been riding bikes my entire life, ever since I was a child up and through my adulthood. And I think that for me, and everyone has a different path that they follow. Being on a bike taught me those first things about I can do it by myself. I have the ability to get from here to there, and I can do it on myself. It gave me that inner strength of knowing that I could do things. It also taught me a little about taking risks, right?
Sure.
Sometimes you fall down and you get back up again, right? And you continue on. That's life. So bringing the conference here, and I'll just say it was an easy decision to bring the conference here. After I had connected with Natasha and Carol, it was absolutely clear that this is the community that we needed to be in to have this conference.
Well, we're glad you're here, and we'll just wrap up with, I think, a quick bike story would be a lot of fun. So one of my earliest memories, I grew up in the area around TC Cherry School, and I absolutely loved freedom. You learned you could do it on your own. I loved the freedom of being able to get on my bike and go somewhere. And that was back in a different time, but we get on our bikes and just stay gone for hours. And maybe we weren't riding real far, but we would stay on those bikes all afternoon, all night, as long as our parents would let us stay out. And so my earliest bike joy memory was being able to get on my bike and ride to what used to be, it was on the bypass, Jimmy Deemer's Market. There's a little market that was on the bypass. It's not there anymore, or not on the bypass. I'm sorry. It was on Broadway in that area at the corner of either Magnolia or Nutwood, right in there. Trying to go way back in my memories. I would take like usually 50 cents with me and go in and buy Jolly Rancher candies and load them up into my little bike basket and take them home and eat on those all night long. So that's one of my earliest bike memories, and I love that. So what's one of yours? Tell me yours, Natasha.
You know, my only memory of a bicycle when I was a young child was my sister's bicycle, because she had the one with the big banana seat and the big tall handlebars.
Oh.
And it was too big for me to ride.
That's a Schwinn Stingray.
Is it?
Yeah, that's actually.
Oh, that was top of the line.
Yeah.
We didn't have Schwinn's
Then
in
that's
my
probably
household.
not what we had
Yeah,
either then.
that was a Schwinn Stingray. That's a collector bike now. That's you were living. That's
My sister was.
What was your earliest memory?
Oh, I would probably say my earliest memory of being on a bike wasn't. I wouldn't recommend that anyone do this, but I was on a BMX team, so we would race our bikes around a BMX track. And
Okay.
we thought we were just everything, right? We had our outfits, we had our helmets, we had our BMX bikes. We just thought we were everything. But what we would do is we would jump things. We'd set up ramps and try to jump things all the time. And the day that we decided that we could jump a car,
Oh, no.
not moving. By the way, for anyone who's listening, don't try this. It's not a good idea. It was a car that was standing still. That was and it was one of our friend's parents' cars, and it did not end well.
For the bike or the car or both?
No one had to go to the hospital afterwards.
So it ended okay.
Yeah,
From a personal level, from a personal safety level, it ended just fine. For the car, no, it was not. There was a lot of fallout from that. But that again was sort of that moment of, look, do you think you could make it? Yeah, I think I can if I get enough speed and, if I pull up just at the right time, I'll be able to clear that car. And when you're that age, you just think that you're kind of invincible, really, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
But, I don't know. Your story sort of resonated with me because I really think about that in terms of those. I had those same stories. Like go to the candy store and I have a couple, nickels or quarters in my pocket and I do whatever. Always on our bike, right? We'd always be on our bike everywhere. And I really think that for me, the thing that I'm really looking for at the end of the day is I just want that memory to pass on to someone else. I want that kind of memory to pass on to some other child in a safe way, that they can ride their bike and go to some store. Now, maybe it's not a nickel anymore, or a quarter, right? And maybe they're using their Apple Pay or something that's on their smartwatch to pay for it. But it's that same experience, being with your friends and going somewhere and having that freedom. I mean, it really is. That's what it comes down to. It's really this idea of that I want to go here. And I can get there on my own. And to me, that's just a memory that lives. It resonates for me.
Yeah, it was great. I used to love my bike, and mine was.
What kind of bike did you have?
I think it was a Murray.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was a Murray.
Yeah.
We didn't have Schwinn's in my household. We had something that was a step down, but I did not care. And in my house, when you turn 10 years old, my dad's mom, my grandma, you got a 10-speed bike.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That was their 10th birthday present.
10
I
speed.
could not wait to turn 10 years old. Now,
Yeah.
I was short. I am still short. So when I got that 10-speed, I really couldn't touch the ground all that well. But I rode that thing. I was so proud of that 10-speed.
Yeah.
I loved that bike so much. And I rode that bike in college, as a matter of fact. When
Yeah.
I got to Western, I would ride it on the hill and lock
Yeah.
it up outside my dorm, because if anybody who knows Western Kentucky University, it's a great place to go to school. It is not a great place to try and find a place to park. But a bike, you can get around really well. So, I would leave my car parked somewhere else and ride my bike around campus because it's just easier to get around on it that way. But yeah, I loved that bike. I had that bike for years.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Do we know what happened to the bike? Did it end up somewhere else?
It did end up somewhere else. It eventually ended up somewhere else. It was sadly, it was removed at some point from Western's campus.
Oh, sorry.
When
Yeah.
it was parked outside of the dorm. So anyhow, had a great time on it. I had great memories, and thanks you guys so much for being here. Again, this is the Kentucky Bicycle and Bikeway Commission and Bikewalk BG. We're really glad to have you. And thanks everyone for listening to Talk BGKY, the official podcast of the City of Bowling Green.